Hello, welcome to Gen Z Finance. I'm an older Gen Z on the cusp of being a young millennial, documenting my financial journey here on YouTube and over on my Instagram at Zennial Finance. So please make sure to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and go follow me over there for more personal finance content. September has wrapped up, which means we are 3/4 of the way through 2021. And at the end of 2020, I set out a list of several financial goals that I wanted to achieve in 2021. At the end of each quarter, I have been checking in on those and just comparing them to my progress to see if I am on track to hit those. So it is now time to do that for Q3. So we're going to do my 2021 goals check-in. Now, just a little overview of who I am and where I was kind of when I created these goals in case you are new to my channel. I was 23 at the end of 2020. I am now 24. I do live at home for cheap, so this is a consideration in the goals that I selected to focus on and the numbers that I picked. I am debt-free as of September of 2020, so I no longer need to worry about paying off any student loans or anything like that. After I became debt-free, I began focusing on investing in FIRE in 2020, and those themes kind of flowed over into 2021 as well, which you will see. And then I do work full-time in HR. Okay, so the first set of goals I had revolved around my spending habits and having a healthy money mindset. So I had three main goals. The first one was to spend $15,000 in total for the year. So in Q3, I spent $2,771. And this was all spending, not including anything I sent to invest. If you want a more detailed view of what I'm actually spending my money on, I definitely recommend you check out my monthly budget wrap-ups and reviews, and then you could get an idea of exactly where I spend all of my money. So year to date through Q3, I've spent $9,537.47. This means I'm about 63.5% to the $15,000 spending limit, and I have $5,462 left to spend in Q4. So based on my Q3 spending, I should definitely come under this. However, Q4 has probably one of the biggest tests to my budget, and that is Christmas and just spending money for gifts. I currently have about $600 set aside for gifts for Christmas, and I don't expect to spend anything more than that for gifts, like no travel or big decorations or anything like that. So even though I have that money already saved up and ready to be spent, that is going to be a bit of a stressor on my budget, and that's, $600 that's already accounted for that $5,000 that I have left to spend. And then I also have some medical and dental appointments coming up, and so I'm going to need to pay for those in Q4 as well. Speaking of doctors, the second goal I had in this category was to spend on health and medical care, because I do have a tendency to ignore or push off these types of appointments just to save a little bit of money, which is totally unnecessary. I'm happy to report that I have been spending money on this. I have been spending money on prescriptions and have made more doctor's appointments in Q3 and Q4 like I talked about. So that is on track. The final goal I had was just spending money on fun, friends, family, and travel. So I spent $323 in fun money categories in Q3, so that averaged out to be about $108 a month, which I think is a very reasonable for my income, age, and then like my priorities and what I want to spend my money on. So at the end of Q2, looking at the kind of half year mark for 2021, I set a couple of more specific goals that I would like to focus on for Q3 and Q4. So I'm going to kind of check in on those more specific goals that related to my healthy money mindset and spending. So the first one was I just wanted to control my spending. Originally, I thought $15,000 was going to be easy, but I was kind of feeling midway through the year that I needed to check myself before I blew past that, because especially Q2 and summer was just a really spendy time for me. But after an expensive summer, Q3 was much better at keeping under my monthly limit. So $15,000 divided by 12 months means that I should be spending no more than $1,250 a month on average. So like I mentioned in Q2, I think in May and June, I spent like $1,400 and $1,600 respectively. So that was definitely a more spendy quarter. But then as the numbers for Q3 reflected, I definitely reined that in. However, this is still going to be something that I'm going to be very much aware of going forward into Q4, because as I mentioned, Christmas is coming up, and that is a big expense for me. So the second set of goals revolved around just my income. There were 4 actions that I wanted to achieve for this. So for the first one, I wanted to bring in a $2,000 a month net income. In Q3 in total, I brought in $8,976 for the 3 months, and that averaged out to be about $2,992. Year to date, I have brought in $27,450 net, which averages out to $3,050. So I am well on my way to achieving this. However, Q3 specifically was a higher income month for me because July was a 3-paycheck month, and then in September, I got an unexpected extra bonus. So I already got my annual bonus in June, but then they gave us another like 3% bonus. If I hadn't gotten that unexpected and inconsistent extra income, my average would have been lower, but I still would have been over the $2,000 a month goal. The second goal I had was to become monetized on YouTube. I hit that in Q1, and then I decided to switch to trying to bring in $100 a month from ad revenue, and I've not been doing this. It's kind of been my fault. I haven't been as on top with my videos. I've been doing less, and I don't think I am doing as many of the fire and investing videos that originally grew my channel by a lot. So I am going to try to get back into those, but I've just been focusing a lot on other things and just kind of been doing my normal budgeting videos. So I'm averaging about $50 a month right now from AdSense. The final action I wanted to achieve was to get a raise at my full-time job, which I did do in June of 2021. So the specific tasks that I had kind of outlined for Q3 and Q4 at about the midway point of the year was to work towards a big raise in 2022. I wanted to meet with my boss to determine what I needed to do in order to be up for either a promotion or just a bigger raise. And then I also wanted to kind of start being ready mentally that I was going to switch companies if I did not get that raise, probably by like June or July of 2022. I've not yet met with my boss. I was planning to do that in October and November, so I'm going to set that up in October, hopefully for a meeting in November. So I have a plan, and my manager knows that, hey, I want to take on more responsibility or whatever it is that I need to do in order to get a more substantial raise than, like the normal 3 to 4% for inflation. All right, so the last set of goals I had revolved around my saving and investing. So let's take a look at that. The first goal I had was to invest $30,000 for the year and or achieve a 50% investing rate of my gross income. So far, I've invested $29,159, so I am just about to hit that $30,000 mark, and that was only 3/4 of the year. My gross income for the year has been $53,353, which means my investing rate has been 54.65%. So I've pretty much already achieved this goal just like 3 months early. So I'm guessing now that I will probably invest somewhere around like $33,000 to $35,000 for the year. It kind of depends on what I decide to do with any extra money throughout the rest of the year, but I still have room in my 401k and my HSA that I will be contributing like through my paychecks. And then I've already maxed out my Roth IRA, so the rest of that money is just going to go into like a taxable brokerage account. So the second goal was I wanted to increase my cash savings by $10,000. At the beginning of January of 2021, I had $20,818, and at the end of September, I had $28,614 in cash. So I'm only about $2,200 away from achieving this goal, and I should be able to achieve this. I have about $600 a month going into kind of my more medium to long-term savings items. And then the final goal I have here is I wanted to hit an $80,000 net worth and have cash be less than 35% of my total assets. I did hit both of these. So at the end of September, my net worth was $83,061. And at that time, the cash in my checking account and my savings account, that all made up 34.2% of my assets. So that is under the 35%. So in my last goal check-in video at the mid-year point at the end of June, I was seeing that I was pretty much going to be on track for all of these goals anyway. So I did set another couple of goals that I was going to work towards in Q3 and Q4. So let's review those as well. The first one was creating a stretch goal of, instead of an $80,000 net worth, trying to hit somewhere between $90,000 and $100,000. And at the time, I made the stipulation that, the market is going to market, so this is a nice to have. After September, because September was kind of a rough month in the market, and we're about halfway through October right now, and it hasn't been a great month. It hasn't been terrible. So I think it's kind of going to be like a normal, hopefully low-key month. We'll see how the rest of the month goes. But right now I am projecting that I'm going to be closer to the $90,000 mark than the $100,000 mark. That's totally fine. Like $90,000 is still $10,000 more than I was expecting to be at the end of the year. I just want to, be proud of the progress I have made. And as long as I hit my original goal, like everything's good with me. And then the second goal I focused on was to have $55,000 to $60,000 in invested assets specifically. At the end of Q2, I had just under $45,000 in invested assets, and I was expecting that I would be able to invest about $12,000 more for the rest of the year. At the end of September, my invested assets are now at just under $56,000, and again, I'm expecting that I have about $5,000 to $6,000 might be a little high, somewhere between like $4,000 to $6,000 left to invest. Again, it kind of depends on if I decide to put any extra money more towards my cash savings or if I just continue to put that more aggressively into my investment account. As we talked about, I already hit the $30,000 goal for the year, so I might put some of the extra money that I was putting towards my investments back into my cash, but I should be able to at least hit $55,000 in invested assets. I am excited about that. And then of course, as long as the market doesn't like crash and I don't lose like 20 to 30% of my assets, which is possible, but even if it's just like a smaller correction, I should be able to hit this goal. But if it's a larger, kind of more coronavirus crash, then I might not be able to hit that. But if that happens and that's out of my control, that's totally okay. As long as I'm taking the steps and I'm controlling the things I can to try to hit these goals, and I don't just because of some unforeseen market circumstances or world apocalypse, like I've got other things to worry about at that point. So I'm not going to be upset about that. Okay, so that is going to be it for this video. That was the Q3 check-in on my goals. Let me know in the comments down below, what is your maybe top 1 to 3 priorities, and how are you tracking towards that with 3/4 of the year gone and only 3 months left of 2021. I don't know about anyone else, but that is absolutely insane. I felt like 2020 was so long and 2021 has just flown by like in a blink. I don't know how it's already time to start preparing and thinking about goals for 2022. Let me know if you are also terrified of how fast 2021 has gone by, or if that's just me. What's your time perception been of the year? I always find it interesting how fast or slow some people think a year or a month or however long a time has felt to them. I think it's like super interesting to talk about. So let me know in the comments down below. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and as always, I hope y'all are staying safe and healthy and that you have a good day.